Welcome to GabTalks, where we provide tools, tips, and techniques to help your life and business be easier, better, and faster. Thank you so much for joining us for this very special episode of GabTalks Success Tips from Experts. It has been our great honor and distinct pleasure to interview these amazing experts and bring them to you. And we hope that you find value in each of these episodes that we have been sharing with you. In this episode, we thought that we would take a moment to review from each of them the question, what piece of advice would you give to your younger self? Thanks for listening. Eva.
I think the biggest one is and I did this anyways, but I did it with a sense of trepidation and a little bit of, I'm not sure, the confidence was low. So have confidence in following your own developed instincts, whatever those are, as opposed to questioning yourself along the way and following those instincts. They'll bring you, the universe never forgets opportunity. So that's kind of where I take that to.
Mr. Ben Spangle.
Yeah, I think if I could go back to that younger self, or those of you that are at that stage in your life, is to really decide what you want and really focus. I think so many people they're getting into careers or getting into businesses because it's a good idea and they think that they should. And what I learned is that if you really want to be happy, find something that you really want to do, get great at it, and your life is going to be amazing. So to me, it would be that. It's like really decide, what do I want? How do I want to be living? What do I want to do? What do I want to have? And then get in the pursuit of that. You do that, you have a recipe for success, happiness, fulfillment. It's a wonderful thing. And you'll find you'll become more successful at it than if you're doing something you should do just because it's a good idea.
Lisa Rodino.
One thing to consider when you're looking to secure some financing for your business, and it's an early business, don't give up your day job too soon. Start searching out your funding for your business before you give up your day job, because being able to have a verifiable income will be a make or break point for those lenders. So don't rush out of your day job when you're working on starting your business or your side gig.
Bill Scalziti.
The best piece of advice I could give to any young person is to figure out who they are and how they choose to live the rest of their life. And who do they choose to live it with? I tell all young people, go out, date, have fun, but don't get too serious because you have a life to plan. Plan your life first, or someone else is going to plan it for you. And that's not going to be fun. Get some experiences, meet people, see what they're like, because that'll help you in being able to figure out what you choose from all the people that you meet.
Nancy?
I would say ask for help, accept help more. But I think also looking back over my younger self too, I was an inventor. I was a researcher for the government. I had done a lot of different things. I've had different businesses that I started. Some flopped, some failed. I've sold some. But at the end of the day, asking for help instead of just trying to get it all done on my own, because it saves time, heartache, and money when we are talking and asking from the wisdom of other people that have gone through some experiences, or they have their expertise that we definitely don't have. We need to make sure that we're going to be willing to ask, receive, accept, and do it.
Aaron Leung.
Well, that's very deep for me. If I really can turn back time, if I really have that ability, I just visualize myself, hey, young Aaron, I want to tell you something. Stand up and be strong. I always wanted to be strong, but I only just think about it. At that time, I want to be an action doer, person that makes that difference. And I want to say one more thing to him and say, speak up. Now, that time I could have done that, but I couldn't. Now, speaking up can have lots of impact. Speaking up doesn't mean that you have to be surrounded in school. You can speak up to different platforms, reach out to different people, and you never know. There's always someone that's willing to reach out and help you. If you never asked, never tried, no one knows. If I really have time to turn back time, tell that, speak up, do it. Make sure people hear your voice.
Robert Nahas.
Wow. I'd like to give a lot of advice, but if I were to pick one, I think that one should never listen to the negativity. because there's a lot of it, and it can even come from internal, because we can be our worst enemy and our friends can sometimes be our worst enemy. So whether it's from a position of love or not, we run into negativity all the time. And so I would just say you have to just believe in yourself and realize with the excitement of what you want to do and remind yourself of that. I would say just ignore the negativity.
Jessica Koch.
Keep hold of your contacts and build those relationships. I have contacts from 30 years back that I can still touch and communicate with because I have kept the value of a relationship. Because it doesn't matter if it's in a Rolodex or a CRM system, the relationship itself is what is key. And I keep saying this, people matter most. I feel like we're on this planet for relationships. And for me, that's a really, really big deal. And so I would say that is very key, and not just don't lose touch, right? Keep track of them somehow. And then the other thing I would say is once you've gathered enough skill set and experience and reputation, don't be afraid to step off and do something that builds yourself and your family and create a legacy. Because I waited far too long to do that. I had the skill set many years prior that I should have taken the leap and the launch. In my head, I had no desire to ever run my own business. Even when I went into my business that bore itself in front of my eyes, and I went a little kicking and screaming because I understood enough that there was all these things you need to do to run a business. I had no desire to do any of those things. But what I realized was I just needed to learn enough to start those things and then hire someone. It's a series and a phase, and it's not as scary as it seems. So I would have to just tell my younger self, just go out there and do it, take slow steps, and it's not as scary as it seems, because one day you won't have to do that part that you don't like anyway.
Daniel?
Stop taking everything so damn seriously. In my even my teenage years, but definitely my 20s, I was proud that people told me I looked and acted older than I was. Like, wow, you're not 30? Wow, I could have sworn you were like 31. Like, you're only 22. Oh, but it didn't serve me in the long run, because that's what ran me down that. It was all the shoulds. Like, how should I be showing up? Oh, I'm the imposter of I'm too young, so I have to be this way. It was all a bunch of nonsense and crap. And if I would go back, I would have had a much more joyous life through those years. And I think I would have been more successful too.
Miss Deborah Thorne.
Yeah, I love young people. I happen to speak teenagers. So first of all, I think what I want to point out is there's a difference between coaching and mentoring. Mentoring is where someone gives of themselves and they don't put a price tag on it and all that. So anybody in your audience who is under the age of 25 needs to reach out to me, because I mentor them. They can have all the information I have at no cost. I want to help you get started, because in our country, we have made a terrible mistake. We've taught everybody that everybody needs to go to college, not necessarily so. We've made college so expensive that these young people come out with huge amounts of debt. And I want to say, you know how to do something, or you could learn to do something that will feed you and your family going on if you just learn the systems and the regimens that are necessary to get these things done. So what I would say to a younger person, my younger self, is, baby, you are more than enough. Where you are today, you are more than enough to do whatever it is you choose to do. And I want to be sure that our younger audience hears that. No matter what everybody else is doing, how they're doing, what it looks like on Instagram or whatever, you today are more than enough to accomplish what you want to accomplish. And you just need to seek out people like myself who are willing to mentor you and help you do that.
Dr. Arthi Moore Roberts.
Something that I actually created as my own saying and my own belief. It's give yourself permission that you do not have to like every person you meet. However, your ability to show respect and be respectful is a direct reflection of your character and dignity as a human being. It's taught me to trust my intuition, that not all people have got your best interests at heart, but that doesn't mean that you've got to demean yourself and lower yourself to somebody else's level. Never bring yourself down to somebody else's level, bring them up to yours. However, if you're not evolving as a human being, what are you bringing them up to?
Eric Erickson.
I think it really comes down to doing the research and putting together a plan, or understanding that there's no such thing as a perfect plan, and just taking action. Just start small and just keep moving forward. That's what a lot of people will allow the plan to prevent them from taking action.
Patrice Craig.
Anything is possible, explore and don't be so quick to tie yourself to one decision,
Right.
but really consider the things that you love and explore the possibilities within those things that bring you alive.
Shiraz.
You're not responsible for anyone in this world except for you. And that doesn't mean you don't help people. It just means you don't have to feel that weight of responsibility for everyone. When you just worry about yourself, focus on you, then you'll find you have that space and that choice to help people when it's required, but it doesn't feel heavy when you do. Everyone's trying to teach you what they know, but over 90% of the world has been taught the wrong things. And it's not like they're trying to screw you up. They're just saying, well, this is what I was taught, so I'm just going to pass it on. But a lot of it goes so far back, like taking care of the family, making sure everyone's safe in the family. That goes all the way back to caveman, because people would literally die if they strayed away. Nowadays, it's just more that you're feeling guilty. Most people can't handle their problems. And the other thing is, I've found that sometimes you have to let people fail because you keep trying to help them and you just become this crutch. You don't give them a reason to grow and push themselves to be different. And when you let them fall and fail, then they have to pick themselves up.
Molly Welch.
Just, I guess, keep fighting with, use everything in your body to keep going.
Mike Vicara.
I love that question for so many reasons, right? Because I had this, my son is in 8th grade right now, and he had a 90s day, and I was a 90s baby, right? So, he's like, all right, I got to dress up. What do I wear? So I'm going to my closet, picking out clothes for him to wear. And then he's like, Dad, like, what was it like in the 90s? I'm like, well, like some things were the same, some were different. But I said, like the technology we have now, I would have never thought we would have had some of that stuff when we were kids. I mean, I've got, a smart refrigerator and cameras everywhere and flat screen TVs and all this stuff. So, when I look back at like, what advice would I give my younger self? It'd be hard because I don't think I would have been ready to see the world as it is now, So I would say advice to my younger self would be like, you don't know what the world's going to be like. So try things that are different, look at things that are different. I think the one piece of advice I would give both my current children and myself back then is that college is not going to make or break you. But college could also be the most important thing in your life. I'm really torn on that because I think if I didn't get my degree, I would have never been able to teach. If I didn't get my master's, I would have never gotten the job I got. I wouldn't have opened the doors for me. Could have there been other paths I could have taken? Yes. I know people a lot of times say, are you saving for your kids' college and all that? I'm like, they're on their own on that one. Like, I'm like, how are you going to learn if you don't pay for it? But fortunately, they're really smart. I think they're going to get full rights. But my advice to him would be, especially entering in the world, is find something you're passionate about, find something you love. But it's such a cliche saying, but it's so true. Work for something you love first, the money will follow. And I really believe that. A lot of people, and there are plenty of people out there that chase the money and are doing very well and they have lots of money and a nice house, but the money always comes. When I taught, I was a teacher, I never worried about money. I know we could have a long discussion about the teachers get paid enough. But when I was a teacher, I felt like I always had what I needed. I always had what I needed. And then when I went into entrepreneurship, even when there was risks, for some reason, money found me. So I think if you do what you believe in, you do what you love, the money finds you.
Lana Walsh.
Okay, well, the 12, 13-year-old me, I would definitely say, don't wait to talk to somebody about what's happening. It was very much, and it's a teenage thing, right? We don't like to talk to people, especially adults, about what's happening. So I would say, talk to somebody and get that treated. For somebody pivoting or, young person thinking about going into business, find a mentor. Find somebody that you really look up to that's doing what you want to do and follow their path or get their advice. Like I got business coaches right away when I started, but I think I would have done so much better had I found that mentor.
Miss Catherine O'Leary.
I would say, honestly, find a mentor that has done what you want to be doing and is already at a point where you want to be and learn from them. They've already done all the hard stuff. They've already learned the hard knocks. Get with them and learn from them and cut your learning curve in half or more. Be open to the mentors. They're going to come in all shapes and sizes and ages. One of my mentors is much younger than I am. And if I just looked at his age, I'd probably walk away from him, but he's really able to connect the dots for me. You never know who it's going to be. So be open to it.
Mr. Tony Stark Felici.
Looking back on my life, if I had to talk to 20-year-old Tony, I would probably say, be less concerned with what other people think about you. In my youth, I was very concerned about other people's opinions of what I was going to do, whether I was going to make a mistake. And so I was more cautious. And really, looking back, I would love to just eliminate that. Do what you believe to be right and good and true for you. The second thing is educate yourself about what you're interested in. Do not make decisions about how you're going to spend your life or what kind of career you're going to go into based on what you think other people are going to appreciate or respect you for. I've met so many people in my career who spent 20, 30 years doing something that they hated because they felt like that was the smart choice. Find what you're really good at. Find what lights you up and go after that and find a way to monetize that. That would be my advice.
Pallavi Pandey.
That's a great one because there are so many things that could be better. Not that I want to change anything, but just something that's efficient and better. But I would definitely love to tell my 20 years younger is, I wish I had done this sooner. I wish I had started this business sooner because I do come from a culture where nature is so important and there are natural resources. Like you said, our products are renewable resources because they're just on the ground and we're picking them up to create something so innovative that can be used anywhere, wherever you have to eat the food. So I wish I had done this sooner. So the one thing that I would like to tell the listeners today is that if you're thinking about something, if you're thinking of any business idea or anything that you have in mind, go ahead and do it. Why? Because the first best time to do something is gone. So don't regret, don't waste time doing it. The second best time is now. So go ahead and do it because I wish I had known this, or I wish somebody had told me this and I would have started this sooner.
Bill Gross.
We underestimate what we can accomplish over time. And we, overestimate what we can do in a day or two or three. And so I think the challenge is to look for opportunities where there's leverage with the compounding of your efforts. And you try to find a way to take advantage of the asset you have, the people that already know, like, and trust you. At the end of the day, I think business success is about the daily task of helping people and compounding that over time.
Welcome, Sean Barrett.
One piece of advice I would say would be listen to your either role models or managers or, your direct report tos, because the biggest thing that a lot of people miss in corporate is the managers aren't out to get you. If you don't succeed, they don't succeed. It is so incredibly expensive to interview and then to hire and then to train and then onboard and get somebody in there that it takes 6 to 9 months for somebody to be productive in their job versus taking someone today and just going, hey, you're going in this direction. You need to go 5 degrees to your left, and then you're going to be a phenomenal success.
Yeah.
If somebody above you is telling you to do something, it's not because they're being mean or they're not because they want to give you just silly, busy work just because. It's because that's what needs to be done. And then that is what is going to make you successful. That's what's going to make wherever you're at successful. And then ultimately, it's going to make them successful.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. We hope you got value today. We want to give a huge shout out of gratitude to our contributors. Please make sure you click the subscribe button below and don't forget to click the bell up above to get reminders when we add new content.